Hey, so we're going to do this again. We're going to look at orange belt one-step techniques. Again, one-steps are things that you learn in traditional martial arts that are like combinations. Often you're learning to throw them at an opponent who just sits there and does this. It's silly because obviously no one's going to sit there and do this and allow you to do that. So I'm going to kind of show you some principles to apply some one-steps. Again, these are taken from Taekwondo, but particularly like Taekwondo where I trained. So there's two basic like branches of the Taekwondo family tree. There's Olympic style. That's what you see in the Olympics, switching round kicks and flappy arms, right? And then there's traditional style, which is more like karate, basically. Korean karate is what you can think of it as. I was on that side of it. There's very basic forms. The Chanji sequence of forms is, that's the style of Taekwondo that I learned, okay? So that's where we started. Like many Taekwondo schools, our federation, I was part of a couple different ones, they supplemented these by adding in other forms that were unique to those organizations. The one that I ended with was called the Sangwall Taekwondo Federation. So it had its own forms that we did, and they were aptly named Sangwall 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, blah, blah, blah. But we also learned the traditional Chanji sequence of forms. When we got to black belt levels, we did like the, like hold the salad bowl and Kwange choreo, those ones. So anyways, that's where my Taekwondo comes from. But they also had one steps. These are not like traditional one steps. So these you might not have ever seen these. You may have seen these. Like that wasn't the point of the video that I was putting up was my Taekwondo background. The point was you can look for applications from these one steps, any one steps. These are just some example ones from some Korean karate that I learned like back in the day. So we did white belt. Now we're gonna do orange belt. It was harder to like kind of show because I was like, oh, you can do these wrist grab motions with it, and the orange belt ones actually work into like these front like shoulder grabs really well, but I need to show how that works, so I needed an arm. Century Martial Arts makes these bob arms now that seem pretty cool. They're $150, and I wasn't sure how much I wanted to invest in this video sequence. So this is a pool noodle. This is the $1 version of said thing. But if this again, I get a good response for these, I'll buy that other thing and then maybe redo these ones, show it that. And again, if I make a friend, I will show it with the friend. So we're just going to go through it. I'm going to show you kind of the one steps as written for orange belt, and I'll show you some application stuff. Again, when I learned these when I was 20 years old and I was training Taekwondo every day and stretching and whatnot, I was a lot more flexible. So my kicks are not gonna be super high, super flashy. I know they're terrible. You don't have to let me know. But again, this is just I'm just passing on some stuff, how to apply some different things. And then in practicing and whatnot, and maybe I'll limber up and doing these videos and get some good kicks by the end of it. So orange belt number one. Again, you can picture old Bobber here putting this in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to step forward, front stance. I'm going to do an outer forearm block. Aha! And then I'm going to do a reverse punch. Stepping back. Number two, I'm going to step forward into a back stance. I'm going to do inner forearm block. I'm then going to go back fist. I'm going to pick up. I'm going to do a round kick, and I'm going to step out. Yeah, I know, my round kick needs some work, so I haven't opened those hips in a while. And then number three, I'm going to do a double outer forearm block here. I'm going to do a number three front kick. I'm going to follow that up with two punches, and I'm going to come out. So now let's look at some different applications for this. So starting first, shoulder grab. So Bob has grabbed me. This is kind of silly because he's grabbing me with his dominant hand. And realistically, if old Bobber was to grab me with my dominant hand, I might just keep it and say this is mine now and hit it. But if I want to clear it, I can clear it here. I'm opening up. This is like kind of like a gunfight, right? Bam! So I'm coming in, boom. So that'd be one step number one. One step number two, we can do this in a couple different ways. He's grabbing me here. I could come in and I can attack the arm, clear that out, back fist, right? I could come in on the other side and I could pass it here. This is allowing me to move to the back, coming in there. And then either way, I've got a number one round kick that I'm going to do. But a number one round kick, I'm not going to really have a lot of good target stuff here. I'm going to do it as a sweep on either side, right? So I'm coming in here and I've got my foot down. I'm sweeping you, taking to the ground on that. So thinking about using that front leg instead of doing that up high maneuver, you know, getting that chamber up and coming in here, I'm just going to use the fact that I've gotten in to push you out that way and sweep the leg, you know, a little closer eye action. Number 3. So again, he's got me here. I'm going to do that Superman technique. I've talked about this before. So I've got both arms in and I'm coming in right there. Yeah, that is the step and the kick. Because before, right, we were here and I stepped and I kicked and I did these punches. Well, now I'm just stepping in and over. So there's my movement for one step number 3. I've taken this arm and there's a variety of different things that I can do. If I engage my hips the same way in which I would engage them for punching, I can just use that to pop you over and push you on the ground. So there's some techniques off of a grab. If he is coming in and he's doing this punch, if we think of these as just, you know, check and pass here, check and pass there, right? Getting on, coming over the top. These are all movements that are hidden in those one steps that we're showing to our orange belts. What we would like to do at our school is we teach these practice these, and then when we get into sparring, we get to you know, higher levels and whatnot, and they're starting to learn more about the minor movements. It's like, let's go back and look at these, and let's look at ways that we can apply them. And there's many ways that you can apply them, but I think it's really simple to be like, oh yeah, like this isn't a super good technique, so I'm not gonna think about it anymore. But if I come in here and do that foot sweep, that's a pretty good technique. That's like basic judo stuff. Hidden in orange belt number 2. So yeah, so those are some orange belt techniques. This didn't really work out as well as I had hoped, so maybe I will get that century thing, or put a stick in it or something. You know, it's just a whole noodle arm is just a little weird there. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying these. I'll come back and I'll do yellow belt in the future.